And that writer said, "Nigga, it looks good kill."
And he's like, "So I should write it."
Exactly. So he was just like, "Well," he was like, "I can do that. I can do that." And as soon as the producer stopped talking, he was, "I got it.
I can do that.
I can do that."
Yeah.
Also, how long is it gonna take you? 2 weeks. It take me 2.5 weeks.
Give me a bottle of whiskey. I'll have it done in 2 days.
It'll take you 2 days, but you tell them 2 weeks so you can get that check.
I like
the producer walks up to the writer and is like, "Hey, I was up last night. I was trying to find some porn, but I found this movie."
No, you don't give away your sources.
Hear me out now. Hear me out. Real quick to your point before we end on bad guys. This bad guy is vicious. The one with the one hand, he's very angry because he blows up a room with a rocket launcher. Like, bro, you could shoot a pistol. You don't have to carry a rocket launcher with you in a room to try and blow up somebody. Like, I just thought there's so many preposterous things where I'm like, that is the best way to kill somebody in a hotel room is to just cut a hole and then put a rocket launcher and then just shoot it. Like, I don't know. I guess like that's how you would kill like an ant farm. Like you would just set the whole ant farm on fire, I guess. But to kill, I don't know. I just thought that was a bit overkill.
Dude, no, yeah, he set gasoline to an ant farm. That's exactly what happened. First of all, this whole scene was crazy to me. So I'm just gonna pull it up because this is insane. Sorry, no dead air.
Oh my god, I just knocked a little dude out.
She got the scorpion in her back. He's trying to get
the fact he's looking for a condom is hilarious.
He's trying to get the French condom open. Like, what?
I wonder what he thinks is going on. Like,
yeah,
she's dancing. It's like
he's clearly not had sex before. Because he's looking for the condom and looking at her do this and thinking, yeah, girl.
Yeah, she's clearly into it. Yeah,
she a freak. Now, right here, she looks like she is a freak.
Makes me wonder where the scorpion went at this point.
In her back, apparently.
Yeah,
or
it
something.
went down her back and it's just stabbing the hell out of her.
Yeah, I mean, well, at that point on the bed, like.
But also, I think the scorpion can only stab you one time, and then
do you die from one scorpion sting? I thought it takes many.
Well, she did many. That is crazy, sir.
That is overkill.
He didn't even wait a second to be like, "Hey, is the plan going good? Or have you killed him yet?" Like nothing like that.
Yeah. So no. I was like, yo, he didn't like Areola.
Yeah.
Areola didn't give him a pee-pee touch one day, and he was like, you know what? He came in like it was Columbine and just shot up everything. Like, that was... look, I don't know if it's too soon for Columbine.
This is too soon.
We only had 3,000 shootings since Columbine, but, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that was...
But dude came in with a trench coat and a fucking... And a rocket launcher, like, come on, man, bro. What gets more Columbine than that? That's fucking crazy. This dude's crazy, man.
It's fucking crazy. And
Lurch. We call him Lurch. Never heard him with a name. Never heard his actual name. I'm sure I heard it, but I don't. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But it also plays into that like monstrous villain in a James Bond movie, like Jaws or
he's like what's to do with the hat?
Odd
Job.
Yeah, we be on the same wavelength because I was about to say the Asian dude with the hat.
Yeah, he's the head minion. He's the head minion, right? Like you always have like the lieutenant commander, right? You got the Cobra commander, and then you got the lieutenant commander, and you always need a good lieutenant commander.
Yeah,
you do always need a good lieutenant commander, unless you have a clique commander. You have a commander of the clique, then you're good to go. Man.
We all know that's fake. We all
know that's not a real thing. No. Let me tell you, let me jump into something that I think is really cool because I got it up here. I got it up on the screen. I always have the movies playing on TV so that I can make sure I don't miss anything for you guys. Like and subscribe if you're having fun so far. Let me tell you, man, or let me ask you. I don't want to tell y'all that. Let me ask you, and I'm also asking you watching. What did you think about the gadgets, the James Bond like gadgets in this movie? Blake, I'm gonna let you go first.
I mean, I quite honestly, I was like, Mission Impossible took all of these. Like, this is actually what happened. Bro, like the gum, the shoes, like the shoes will always remind me of the gloves that Ethan Hunt had in Mission Impossible. Was it four?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's like got a stick, and then one of them like dies. It's funny because one of the shoes like falls off, and she's like, "Don't gain any more weight." And I'm like, bro, then how did you get off at the end? I'm like, how did you get off the roof? I thought she said don't gain no more weight. Why are you carrying somebody? What are you doing?
Right.
I had a lot of questions.
Those shoes had no people in them and they fell.
Maybe this movie was produced by Scientology.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
We got the documents proved Scientology money paid for this movie.
We know that they paid for Tom Cruise's first movie with Nicole Kidman. They arranged their marriage, and they basically have been involved in him and John Travolta's movies since 1983. So I mean, I'm just saying, all signs are pointing in that direction.
I already told you we got the document. I already told
you. All I want you to know is that I'm hearing people are saying this movie was ripped off at least 4 times. And that's just because they knew they could do it better. Great movie, but I could do it better.
Yes, it's a very weird line for a movie to walk. I can't think of another movie that we've talked about on here since that has so much influence from other movies like James Bond and even like the Mission Impossible series,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like all that whole teen era, and also influencing all these other movies like we mentioned, Kingsman, Spider-Man, Mission Impossible.
Saying that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is that movie that influenced a whole bunch of other movies. Obviously, like this one.
Well, I'm also influenced, but was influenced by other movies. That's what I mean. Like this was influenced by James Bond, but also influenced a whole bunch of other movies afterwards. It's a weird combination where they're trying to steal from another thing, but then it ends up.
And then they just steal from the thing that stole from the thing, and you're like, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
help me out on it.
I would more so, because this is a comedy, and it went so far into the comedy side, like Blake was saying, I would consider this more of a parody than I would.
Yeah, but they didn't like that. They didn't lean like
they did not lean into it. No.
Yeah, I watched like a Leslie Nielsen movie, and I'm like, it's a parody, and I know what I'm getting myself into. He's a complete goofball. He doesn't know. Like, if he did this movie, I'd be like, totally. Even if they put his old ass in high school, I'd be like, totally believable.
Right.
Like Leslie Nielsen was just that age when he was in high school.
Yeah. Well, see, I definitely would feel the same way, but like, I definitely do feel the same way, but I just feel like there wasn't too much that they needed to dial back. They only needed to dial back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, if old girl caught the scorpion down her back, it didn't need to be like as long as it went on. You know what I mean? Like, especially
that did go on for a really long time.
Yeah, especially if you're just gonna blow her up at the end. Like, that did not need to last that long. She ain't gonna have we just trying to give her more time on screen because she looks good. That's basically what happened.
I mean, and it's that same bit too, where it's like there's a sound, somebody hears it, and then they're like, they make their own conclusion. So it reminds me of like, I'll even throw in another one that may have influenced Austin Powers, right? Like the Austin Powers, actually, when the dude's he's like, who does number 2 work for?
Yeah.
And then Tom Arnold's in the other style. He's like hitting him. He's like, that's right, buddy. You give him hell. You show that turd who's boss. Right.
Yeah,
That whole bit of like, oh, the one person can't see it, and they're the straight person, but like what's really going on is this whole other thing. And so like that's immediately what I thought of. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, that makes sense. I've seen this, but I've seen this bit before, so maybe it's not as funny if I had never seen any of these movies and like saw this movie.
Yeah. And even you saying that, it reminds me of the opening of The Spy Who Shagged Me. And I feel like it had a very similar moment to this movie. And I'm just pulling it up. I don't even remember, but let's skip a little bit.
Well, all we have to do is talk.
It doesn't have the same parody vibes of like a Spy Hard or Naked Gun.
Fuck that. There's a bunch of stealing going on in here. We're not gonna sit back and stand for this shit no more. And you know what? We're working on another series where we're gonna expose all you people who have stolen from another television series or a television series for the last 30 years. So we're gonna bring that up. We're gonna bring
Alex
that up.
doesn't even know what the hell you're talking about.
He knows what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. He's just wondering why I'm not saying it right. but we're not gonna say it because it's special. But this was obviously ripped off a lot, and we can't stand for it no more.
I can't stand no more.
This is, regardless if it holds up or not, this was totally ripped off.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of plagiarism, and it's weird, even in like just what we were talking about, the influence on both tales being influenced by and influencing other movies. It's weirdly less popular than all of them.
Right.
No,
this is when like you hear a song and you're like, this song bangs, but it's like sampled and you don't know what the original sample is, and it was some like obscure like 1966 song by like some band that had like 2 albums and then they never did anything, and so you don't know who they are. Like, this is the extent of that. Like, because of this, like people sampled from this, and then like you're like, oh, that's such a clever idea, and they're like, he, we stole it from Richard Grieco. Yeah.
Yeah, you love Bootylicious, but you never heard of Stevie Nicks. Yeah.
Right. Stop that. We've all heard of Stevie.
I have a question.
That is it. No, I'm just kidding.
Do French people drive on the same side of the road as Americans?
That is a good question.
Hold on. I'm asking Blake.
I'm gonna go with no, because all Europe don't drive on they drive on the other side because they're weirdos.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna let Alex look it up right now, but let me just tell you something. Every single scene where they're driving, everybody's driving with the steering wheel on the left-hand side of the car.
Yeah, they filmed it in like Indianapolis or something.
Okay, apparently, the French drive on the right side of the road, like most European countries. If you're hiring a car and hadn't driven on the right before, you will have to get used to the steering wheel being on the left hand.
So in other European countries, they do not drive on the right hand side of the road, but in France, they drive on the right hand side of the road.
Yeah, but it still doesn't explain why the European, like, because all the cars should still have the cars on the left hand side, or.
No, not if you're driving on the other side of the road. It definitely makes sense if you're driving on the other side of the road, but that's not what we're here to debate. What we're here to talk about is this is something that took place in the movie, and I was like, yo, they didn't film this in no France. All of the damn cars is on the fucking right side of the road. This doesn't make any sense.
Got to make those budget cuts somewhere.
But we were wrong about that. Another thing that we were wrong about, and they got it right. Like, I thought there were going to be all kind of continuity issues in this movie, but there weren't a lot of continuity issues in this movie. Like, old dude, his Michael Corbin's best friend's hat flies off when they're like on the little bus tour, and I am segueing into something, so don't get it twisted.
Good, because I want to segue into something with that little weirdo.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I talked about the weirdo, I'm sure.
But he like holds his head out the window, and the whole hat flies off. His whole fucking Mets hat flies off. Which, by the way, he's wearing. If I'm not mistaken, he was wearing a Mets hat, and they're from Detroit. I was very upset about that.
Yeah, why not a Tigers hat?
Why not a Tigers hat? Let's put it in the comments if I'm wrong. Was he wearing a Tigers hat?
You don't have to like where you're from. Listen, I'm raised in Austin. I don't like the Cowboys or the Houston Texans. When I was a kid, I was a Green Bay Packer fan. So,
well, I will say this right now: you can root for the Houston Texans because D'Amico Ryans is the head coach, and I played against him in high school baseball, Birmingham, Alabama, and he went to the University of Alabama and played linebackers.